The Gifted Season 2, Episode 12 Thoughts. This episode is called Home. Another episode I love. Spoilers for everything live-action X-Men leading up to and including this episode. The episode is rated 12+, so will this video be? Let's dive right in. So, let's see. Let's start with the flashback. Maybe just in general, talk Blink or Clarice. See, I'm still not sure what exactly she prefers. I guess I'll go with Clarice for now. Yeah, really compelling flashback. I think it worked well the way it cuts back, over the course of the episode, and we see a little bit more, and let's see, I feel like, are they supposed to be reading Twilight? They're at the start talking about kissing the vampire, and it was a sweet little moment. And let's see, they do a good job of, like, the various flashbacks with Clarice. Like, she's happy, and then it's just a real bastard shows up, one or more, and ruins it. We can understand why she has become fairly cynical and sarcastic. And let's see. Yeah, she manages to teleport her and Lily away just in time, but Lily, wants to be a hero, and now we understand better why Clarice is so nervous when, John insists on being the hero, throwing himself into a fight he can't win. And let's see, and this thing about, he didn't actually care. The foster father didn't actually care about these, foster kids. He just wanted the money for it, which is an actual thing. That is a problem. They need to vet some of these, foster parents better. Just ask John Connor. And let's see, what was the other thing? Yeah, her over the course of the episode, let's see. Yeah, she's trying to talk John into bed rest, and like, straight up sits on his lap, and still, he doesn't get, kiss her, you fool, just, yeah. Sometimes we're just clueless, us cishet men. And let's see. Yeah, by the end, she does leave for the Morlocks, eating what, I'm sure Mouse would say, if you close your eyes, it almost tastes like tasty wheat. And let's see. Yeah, at one point, John loses his temper, punches Erg, not knowing his power. Clarice explains the power, and I feel like she is basically telling John, stop hitting yourself. I think that is what there is for her for this episode. So, let's move on to the Struckers. So, yeah, Lauren manages to find the maybe just brings it back out. I forget if she found it before, but the paper with the writing in German, and translates it. I like the detail that there's, like, I think there were two different things where she wrote something and then she crossed it out afterwards, because you realize, no, wait, that doesn't quite make sense. That's a nice little detail, and I appreciate that they just montages through her translating instead of us sitting there watching her look up every single, word. And yeah, and later Reed, finds the paper and looks at it, and then he writes it out on the computer. Like, is he just like some people just can't accept if their kid has done something right. They have to be critical. Is that what's going on? Like, I'll admit, for a second there, when I saw him, get out these two papers and then sit down at the computer, my heart skipped a beat because I was like, is he gonna do a twisted translations? But no, he's just writing it out, and we hear the actual contents, and the music box actually brings out his power despite the medication. So that's, yeah. And, later in the episode, we see he's keeping from them that his powers are, yeah, that happened. Even though they agreed that he wasn't supposed to lie about, this anymore. And they're lying to him about how they escaped. I do find it interesting. I guess it's for, like, effect or something. Why did they tell him it was, like, a full, actual, like, convoy of Sentinel soldiers? Because he repeats, he says, how did you escape? An entire convoy. Why didn't they just say there was one... I guess, so that he'll know how serious it is, so that he doesn't, like, secretly sneak off to talk to Danny, I guess. Yeah, fair enough. That makes sense. Yeah, I quite enjoyed the mother-daughter bonding time. That was what I was trying to say. The thing about, so you used to be fun. And that I do hear is a thing for parents trying to hide how they used to be more, they did stuff when they were young that they don't want their kids to know about because they don't want, their kids to emulate it. Let's see. The thing about, sometimes I think he just went to church to make me feel guilty, And let's see. And the thing with, well, this was, this is soy random. Well, this was the makeout spot of choice, because it's easy to see the cops coming. So who did you kiss here? I don't kiss and tell. Okay, so who did you kiss and not tell? Or how many, rather, 5, 10, 15? Yeah, who are you and what have you done with my mother? I mean, that is a joke, but this is the Marvel Universe, so there is a chance, like, I don't know, Clone wouldn't be the first in this show. Crap. What was the full body? Yeah, I forget what exactly it's called, but I think you might get what yeah. Let's see, and yeah, I'll jump back slightly. So yeah, them, yeah, back with Danny, and he's like, we held a funeral. I grieve for you. You've been gone for 2 years. I remarried, and let's see, you have the yeah, she straight up asks, Homeland Security, and he's not happy about it. Comes back, and he's being vague, and he does eventually admit, yeah, reveals, have you been watching The Wire? And let's see, yeah, tells them, so now they know what we already knew, that Benedict runs the purifier secretly. And Riva, they did not want to tell him what was going on. That he was handcuffed 20 minutes later. And let's see, the bit with the escape. We're too late. And crap, I forget the exact words, but Lauren says something like, "No, we're not," or something, and some more great superpower use, some great practical effects, gags, and stunt work as she cuts parts of cars off. Wasn't entirely sure what the point of cutting. At one point, she cuts a door off. I guess just to throw them off, maybe. Not physically, but psychologically. And yeah, at one point, she cuts off the top of yeah. I didn't think that every single one, but it was very clever how she she knocked out a tire with it. And let's see, I think that covers the struck. Other than Andy, wow, yeah. So the oh right, just real quick so I don't forget. Yeah, Lily implores Clarice, "We have to go back, Clarice. We have to go back." And yeah, Andy, we have we see the dream, and yeah, at first she's struggling to get past his powers, but she does manage, and he wakes up, and apparently his mind made it real. The body cannot live without the mind, and the Frost clones are there, and they're, what happened? Why didn't you tell us? It's been going on for months. And he's like, well, the first two rules of Dream Fight Club. And let's see I think that just about covers. Yeah, so yeah, you have a couple of Andy. Yeah, the triplets tell Andy, we could convince her, and by the end of the end of the episode, relax and think of Lauren. So creepy. Can't wait to see the payoff. And yeah, he tries to talk to Lorna, and she's like, I don't know, I don't think you can force someone to believe it. And Esme's like, you have to stay out of this. I want to see you and your baby, to back together again. That's not going to happen if Riva finds out about this. Really, really nice and creepy. And yeah, that segues very nicely into Lorna, who continues being a double agent. And I do appreciate she realizes Andy's not quite ready for that. She doesn't tell him that, she's trying to dissuade him from... Sway him. I think my mind just combined the words sway and dissuade. Yeah, into, leave Lauren out of this, but yeah. And let's see. Yeah, she continues to try to find out from Max, who continues, like at this point, the others have clearly talked to him, and still, one of them's like, dude, we're not supposed to tell, just, yeah. Once again, I suppose not all of us, but a lot of us cishet men, yeah, conventionally attractive woman smiles at us, flirts, yeah, we're gonna, yeah, like, well, Lorna, can you keep a secret? Oh, yeah, totally. Well, so can I. And, ultimately, he does say, we're gonna go slay a dragon. And, yeah, she knows that has to mean Evangeline. And, very clever. She hid a phone there, and, it's like, no calls, I know, but this is, this can't wait. Have you solved today's Wordle? Because I am stumped. And yeah, even speeding, they don't get there in time. And yeah, of course, Evangeline and the others did not stand a chance. How could they against the... now I forget the word. Livresco trio. Let's go with that. Yeah, the Max and the other two. See, and yeah, the thing about, you were in prison, yeah, and the moment I got out, I killed the guy who put me there. Like, holy crap, just, yeah. And I suppose that covers Lorna, I think. Yeah, let's see, I guess that pretty much just leaves Marcos and John. So, yeah, I appreciate that Marcos and Lorna, they are being less combative with each other because, apologies were made, and that was what needed to happen, and Lorna talking about, I just want you, me, and Dawn together, and it seems like that's getting further and further away. That is also, I really appreciate, like, I mean, when this show started, the Mutant Underground already had problems. They were struggling to keep up with Sentinel services. They're really, like, it is nose diving out of control. Just, they keep losing. Like, honestly, at this point, I don't see how they're going to stand a chance if the Morlocks don't join. Or I guess if they go live with the Morlocks maybe and take a pause for the cause, but I don't think John is going to be very receptive to that idea. Now, let's see. John, I thought the drive was quite compelling. This thing of, Marcos is like, what's your problem? Evangeline saved your life. It's not like she put a gun to your head. Which I think is stepping on Denzel's line, but okay. And Evangeline didn't tell them the full truth. Yeah, one of the things she did was save his life. That wasn't the end of it. And, this thing of like, no, she threatened me. She was going to reveal the locations of the tunnels. She was going to, I think that's what he said. Certainly, she knew, and there was a threat there, which, based on her characterization up to this point, I can absolutely see that. Now, let's see, I thought the discussion worked once they see that Evangeline's that, and I really appreciate that they do manage, the others manage to stop John. I think Marcos is one of the, just like, there's no way, stop, they're already dead, and touch grass, or ground, use your power. And, he thinks Erg is a coward. Erg thinks that he's, some kind of Suicide Squad leader. And, it was very cool seeing the power use there. And let's see. I suppose that covers that as well. I feel like there's something else that I wanted to say about this episode, but I can't quite place it. Certainly one thing that I want to say, we have the flashback of a young Reed, taking out the music box, listening to it. As he takes it off the shelf, we actually briefly get the point of view of Zabata. And I think that might be... Right, I really appreciate, like, honestly, I thought Lauren was kind of going off the deep end, but I guess she is just heading there from the end of the episode before this one, when she threatens the landlord. But yeah, she is, she's thinking about how this is not going to, this is dangerous for Andy, so yeah, she has pulled back enough to realize that was also, I think it's Lorna who says, if they actually did get, if Reva got Lauren as well as Andy, how powerful would they be? And by the end of this episode, it looks like that might be, And this thing of, I mean, if Andy brings Lauren into his dream, I don't see why not. Based on what we've seen earlier, I think the Frosts can indeed, because once they go into his mind, if Lauren's mind is also in there, like, holy crap, it really, and they've been doing a good job seeding this throughout this season. It was very early in this season that we saw the first time that there was this thing of, like, might they reunite? And we know, the whole Fenris thing. I think that might be... Right, I really appreciated Caitlin, packing during and taken several shots when they're trying to escape. And yeah, I really appreciate that they did get the no, yeah, it was, let's see, the fact that Benedict secretly runs the purifiers. None of the other good guys knew that yet. Marcos saw Riva meet with Benedict, but that doesn't mean that he has anything directly to do with the purifiers. And now, that piece of information is going to go into their, piecing together everything that's going on. Yeah, I think that might actually cover everything in the episode. Wow, I don't know why this video turned out so much shorter than the other ones. Like I said, I love this episode like I do the others. No, yeah, there's not really anything. Right, IMDb trivia for this episode says that some of the, at least some of what the music box plays is the theme from the 90s animated X-Men show, which is really, really cool. Yeah. I think that really does cover it. I'm really glad. I'm afraid I keep forgetting the name, but the dog is still around. I'm pretty sure it's there when Clarice is like, telling John to come to bed. It's certainly there when John is sitting on the floor after Clarice has left. I suppose I could just briefly say I did appreciate the sort of love triangle. Although I suppose, like, at this point, Lorna doesn't know yet, so I don't know if it is technically a love triangle. But, yeah, Marcos is attracted to the young, really optimistic mutant that joined the Morlocks. Let's see, did they kiss or almost? I think they just very briefly kissed. And yeah, again, like, it was very clear from, the way she was, you could see on her face, she did want to kiss. And yeah, it is this thing of like, he does still want to be with Lorna. And I really appreciate how optimistic she continues to be. I forget if I already said, but she's giving Nightcrawler from X-Men 2, this thing of, she practically did paraphrase his line about, like, hope can keep you alive, so something along those lines. It was a similar sentiment, if not the exact same. And you can also see how, it's this thing of, like, Lorna has a very similar background with some darkness, having done some bad things, having a difficult relationship with their parental figures. And yeah, both of them can be somewhat cynical and aggressive and such. So there's, it's what's the term? Likes attracts like, something like that. Likely. And what was the other thing? Right. I swear I mean no disrespect, but I simply don't remember the name. But the optimistic mutant, she with her, it's very much this thing of, like, yeah, she's also had bad experiences, but she maintains this really optimistic outlook. So there's that thing of, like, if he is with her, maybe that could, maybe he could end up more hopeful as well. And this is hope is in demand at this point for the mutant underground, so one can absolutely understand why yeah. Now, I think that really does cover right, I really appreciate Erg saying, he does understand that Clarice left a lot behind, including, a man you love, a man to love and hug and kiss. And I think that might actually cover everything. Right, I like the moment where, Esme comes in and says, Lorna, I have something to talk to you about. And Sage, like, again, I hope there's like an outtake where Sage is like, well, I'm glad the two of you were in the same room. Oh, you want me to... Right. But no, she just immediately leaves, and there's like clear, like, she has like the face of someone who knows this is not gonna go well if she does not leave immediately, And yeah, I think that is everything. I can't help this feeling that there's just one last thing that I really wanted to I don't know, maybe there isn't. Right, yeah, the part where, Lorna is taking the elevator and she's like clearly like really anxious and, puts on battle face to right before walking in to, talk to the trio, or more specifically Max, in order to, right, the bit with the training was also quite cool. She, she's got all these blades, and actually, yeah, that kind of reminded me of that really cool, iconic Wesley Snipes character. What was his name again? Simon Phoenix, that's it. And but yeah, she's in the elevator, like anxious, puts on battle face, the doors open, and again, I just want there to be an outtake where, doors open, it's like, surprise!